to another edition of Inside the Vinyl. I'm your host, Tim Bianconi. If you would go ahead and like, comment, share, and subscribe to my channel below, that would be greatly appreciated. If you could also hit that notification bell so you can be notified anytime we put out new content, that would be appreciated also. So, I am super excited today. You guys have no idea how excited I am to have this record that came in the mail today. And I am talking about a reissue of the 1993 Saigon Kick album, Water. This was their third record. It was released on September 28, 1993. It came out on the Atlantic and Third Stone labels, produced by the guitar player Jason Bieler. Unfortunately, it did not chart on the Billboard charts, nor has it been certified for anything gold or platinum. That's really unfortunate. This is a reissue that was released on Real Gone Music, one of the many reissue companies that Atlantic and Warner and all the other ones have. This is the first time that this particular album has been on vinyl, and even on Amazon, it shows the release date being March 3rd, 2023. Now, today is February 21st, 2023, so as far as I can tell, I got this album about a week and a half early, and I ordered it directly from Real Gone Music, and with shipping and everything else, it was actually cheaper than the Amazon option, so, check that out if you want to. So, let's go ahead and open this bad boy. So, if we're being 100% honest, I already filmed this video, but unfortunately I forgot to turn my microphone on, so there was no audio. So I have already opened this album. So just to kind of show you guys, here's the cellophane from this record, showing the hype sticker that I want to keep, saying it was the first time on vinyl, and that it is Saigon Kick's third album from 1993. So there is the cellophane. Put it back in the box, so let's see if I can get it out of the box again without tearing anything up. Maybe I'll intersperse some of the footage from me opening the album the first time when I do the final cut on this thing. All right, so here we go. Here is the front cover of Saigon Kick's Water. First time on vinyl. That's pretty exciting. We turn it over, we see the back, we see the band, which at this point was a three-piece, as well as the track listing for the record. So let's go ahead and open this bad boy up and see what's inside. All right. Now, with a lot of reissues, especially some of the ones that have come out on Friday music, like the Skid Row debut, some of the Faster Pussycat reissues, unfortunately, I think even the Winger reissue I have, the inner sleeve really didn't have anything. It was just a plain white inner sleeve. Like, they didn't replicate what came in the original versions of the albums or the CDs or the cassettes or anything like that. In this case, they did. So this is kind of cool. So if you if you take out the inner sleeve, you've got a lyric sheet on one side. And then on the other side, you've got more pictures of the band, as well as some liner notes and some different things. So that's pretty cool. Nothing too special about the vinyl here. It is just standard black 180-gram vinyl, but I still find beauty in that. So here is the black vinyl with the Saigon Kick Water sticker in the middle. And if I were to turn the record over to side B, you see it's the same thing. So that's cool. So no fancy colored vinyl in this case, but for me, it's not necessary. I am just super stoked. Super stoked to have this record. All right, so let's talk about this thing for a second. All right. So, the reviews on this album, at least the ones I could find online, were decent, like maybe 3 out of 5 stars. The album itself is kind of quirky compared to some of their previous material, and I've covered this in previous videos before. I think I did a video a few years ago about kind of in-between bands, and Saigon Kick definitely qualifies as one of those. This band, unfortunately, got lost in the shuffle between hair metal and grunge, because they're really not a hair band at all. The only thing that really connects them to that is the ballad that they had off the previous album, Lizard Over Here, the song Love Is On The Way, which was like a top 20 hit for them. Unfortunately, that pigeonholed them, and really that song, as great as it is, didn't represent, most of the music that Saigon Kick does, which is like very forward-thinking, almost progressive hard rock in some ways. This album definitely continues down that track and even gets more out in left field, but there are some hard rockers on here. The first song, One Step Closer, just, punches you in the gut right off the bat. A little bit later on, you have a song called Torture that just has a really awesome heavy riff at the beginning of it. Got some softer stuff on here. They do cover David Bowie's Space Oddity, and of all the covers I've ever heard of that song, I think Saigon Kick's is the best. In fact, I actually like it better than David Bowie's. I know that's sacrilege, but that's just my opinion. There's another song called Fields of Rape, which is a really pretty song. The title, it's not really about what the title might make you think. Apparently, in another country somewhere, there is a type of plant or whatever that is called rape. So you'd have to read up a little more on what the song is about in that regard, but it's a great song. Beyond that, it does get a little quirky. They do a lot of experimenting on this record. Right off the bat, there's some like electronic drum beat type, machine type beats on the title track Water. There's another track on here that was supposed to be the follow-up to Love Is On The Way, a song called I Love You, which I don't know if you guys remember the guy Timmy T that did that One More Time song in the early 90s, but imagine that song with guitars, and that's pretty much a song I Love You. Unfortunately, it's kind of cheesy, but it's also very likable. I like it a lot. Maybe it's one of those like forbidden pleasures or whatever. Like I wouldn't listen to that song with friends. But it's a cool song. It's quirky. Unfortunately, it didn't do anything. It wasn't a hit. And then they get even weirder with songs like On and Close to You and Sergeant Steve. And some of the stuff, they're, like I said, they're very experimental. I mean, there's some reggae elements in some of those tunes. Even maybe some kind of Corporal Clegg, early Pink Floyd influences on some of these tunes. I mean, like there's some, it kind of goes from one end to the other on the first half of the album, but the second half of the album makes like just, the entire second album is nothing but a bunch of left turns. It's kind of crazy. So maybe that pigeonholed them a little bit. I'm not really sure. But again, like I said, they were never really a band that fit into either one of those genres they got caught between. However, if I had to categorize them, I would say they had more in common with a band like Alice in Chains than they would, say, Warrant or somebody like that. Now, as I said, when we looked at the back of the album, the band was a three-piece by this time. Original lead singer Matt Kramer left the band either before the making of this album or during, because when I listen to the harmonies on this record, it still sounds like the harmonizing that him and the guitar player Jason Bieler were doing on the first two records. So I don't know if he sang and is not credited, or if they just found somebody else or found some way to do the harmonies and make them sound the same. I'm not sure. But he is not in the band anymore as far as this record is concerned. But for me, like at least the hard rock stuff, it still sounds every bit as Saigon Kick as anything else. Like I said, this album did not chart. It did not sell well, unfortunately. I don't even remember there being much press about it when it came out. I just remember going to the record store one day and I just saw like, ooh, new Saigon Kick tape, or whatever. So I picked it up like the day it came out and I've loved it ever since. This was their last album on a major label. As with most of the bands that got, either were hair metal or got lumped in with it, they all lost their record deals in the early 90s, and Saigon Kick would end up on a label called CMC International for their next record a couple years later, as did a lot of those bands. But again, for me, I am super stoked. I'm ready to get this video done, and hopefully the audio recorded this time. I'm ready to get this done so I can put this bad boy on my turntable and rock out. That's all I've got for you this time. Like, comment, share, and subscribe to my channel below. Hit that notification bell so you can be notified when we put out new content. I've got the rest of my Inside the Vinyl series, which includes unboxings like this one, where we unbox reissues, new albums, box sets. Sometimes they're not even records, sometimes they're CDs. It just depends on what's coming out. I've got my Lost Classics series. I've got my live album series. And I've also got some concert footage from some different festivals and concerts over the last few years. And lastly, if you're into disc golf, I have some mediocre disc golf videos starring some very mediocre players like myself. So like, comment, share, and subscribe to my channel, and we'll see you next time. Peace out.
There you go, boy.